Hey everyone, Sari here, and welcome back to the highlights from this week of Dark Season defense matches. I didn't make any major changes to the defense this time around, outside of changing it over to the recently introduced Jotunheim map. This defense map feels pretty similar to the original version of Spring Breeze. It's been a long time since we had access to a map with multiple unbreakable walls, and I think it's a neat terrain to experiment with. It suits this team pretty well, too, letting them deny a bit more space on the left side of the map than usual without giving up the benefits of the previous layout. It also gives me some space to hide the duo's hindrance, making it a bit harder for Korin Azura Peony style clears to succeed. The team itself is mostly unchanged. I switched out Idun's Rally for Swap instead to avoid some of the awkward situations it produced, and also traded Katria's support skills for some extra defenses. The team did pretty well in Medias' bonus weeks, so I was interested to see how it would hold up outside of them without any major changes. The results were a bit of a roller coaster. It's been a while since I've seen this many losses in a week, but two of them were sacrifice plays, which I don't normally pay much attention to, and the other three all featured Deflect Magic Hardy Fighter Hectors, who's been a notable weakness of the setup ever since I put it together. So let's get to the first match. This match was the most impressive of the far-saved Deflect Magic Hectors that visited me this week. Their Hector's very solid, nearly maxed out, he's just missing a Floret. But I think the real star of this team is this absolutely maxed out Lewin. He's really impressive. I haven't actually seen him very often, even after his refine. And I do think he's very solid, especially when he's paired with an Uller, since they make a very good 1-2 punch of player phase threats that can demolish any melee opponents they need to, before Hector just survives all of the ranged. The Dragon Ball Mill is a neat touch too, and honestly I can see it helping her just to stall out a match while they run around and collect Aether pots. They take a turn here just to open things up in the front, and then move Lewin in to start baiting things out. As usual, Hector isn't going to have any problems surviving the mages, although Garnef does get to attack him for free, and he doesn't get to fully recharge the Zegas for the next round of combat. Unfortunately, the amount of speed support they have, thanks to Peony and Uller on the team, means that Hector actually gets to speed check Bramland, even through the impact. And that means that Bram doesn't actually get to survive this round of combat. And from there nobody else gets to reach us, since Azura's been isolated. And they can just start cleaning up. Taking Garnef out of the picture is honestly just useful for them, since he's not something that Hector can really handle on his own, even if he can't really threaten the Hector either. And then they can just move everybody in. Even if Hector does have a ranged focused kit, he's not going to have any problems shrugging off Azura, or handling Guinevere. And without the Dancer, the team can't really do much to get in range. Idun being over on the side here is really unfortunate for her, since it means her entire weapon is offline. And she's also not doing anything to help protect Katria from this Lewin. And then they can just swap Hector into enemy phase Medias. And continue to kite Idun around the map. And, well, with only Idun left, it's easy enough for them to pick up the Aether pots. Or pot. Eventually. and let Hector tank one more unit to close things out. This match was a fun one to see in the middle of this roller coaster of a week. They brought along a pretty impressive Julius. While he might not have the most premium A-slot skill on the table, he's still a very solid mage tank thanks to his res-based damage reduction and the sheer amount of in-combat penalties he can apply to attack and res. The wall does a lot for that and just really helps double down on it, and applying minus 14 attack and res to anything he fights makes it very easy for him to survive. Supporting him with Milla and Loki is a nice touch too. It lets them do a lot of work controlling the battlefield, just having the isolation support shut down dancers, while Loki can really slow down a lot of turn 1 traps by either applying stall to any of the various Seagirds wandering around on defenses, or just using gravity to slow down the ranged backup. They take a couple of turns moving in here. I'm not sure if they wanted the bolt tower to go off or not, or if they just wanted to clear out that space for Julius to tank. Unfortunately, gravity does not stop Guinevere from using triangle attack to demolish Julius, thanks to the orders buff she also gets from Catria. And without Julius, they don't really have much else to work with on this team, so they surrender the match and move on. This match was a fun one, giving the team a chance for some revenge against a maxed out hardy fighter Hector. This one's using Deflect Missile instead of Deflect Magic, and while I can understand the reasoning for it, I think it's the weaker skill of the two. There are a few weaknesses to Deflect Missiles, including Deadeye, Lethality, and just something like Young Inns, while the only flaw in Deflect Magic is Tyne, who I haven't actually seen at all since her release. They're also backing the sector up with a couple of very powerful player phase threats in Corin and Erica, along with a Wings of Mercy Dogger, all of who can really carve apart anything that actually threatens Sector before he tanks up the rest. They move Erica in here and safely test this Hex Trap, since she has over 60 health, and let her just attack into Medius. 60% damage reduction is a lot though, and means that Medius actually gets to survive this Erica, and almost one-shot her on that second counterattack. Wings of Mercy means that Dogger can move in and finish him off, and then they just pull Hector back and move him in to keep them safe from the ranged. Unfortunately, not using Deflect Magic means that Guinevere can step in and take him down with an Iceberg.
I have steeled my heart.
And without Hector protecting them, the rest of the team is very vulnerable. Catria can handle Dogger.
By your side. What? No way.
Which means that Azura can step forward and dance before Garneth warps in to finish Erica off.
Am I not strong enough?
And with all of them out of the way, Guinevere can warp all the way forward to one-shot Corin and reduce them to 2 units left on their offense team, which is enough for them to surrender the match and move on. It was a pretty bumpy week for the defense overall, but I think it's still holding up pretty well. Deflect Magic Hector is something that I am keeping an eye on. I don't think it's too common to see him this much in one week, but I would like to adjust the defense to actually be able to threaten him. I might end up bringing Leguarn over from the Anima defense and slotting her in here somehow, but we'll see. I'm not expecting to do too much experimentation over the next couple of months, since I'm going to be focusing on streaming instead, which is part of why this video is a lot shorter than the usual ones. I do have a Discord channel if you'd like to hang out and chat or get any updates on upcoming videos and streams. There's a link in the description, and I've also got a Patreon link there too if you'd like to help support the channel. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, good luck with your own matches, and I'll see you next time.